Hey there. I wanted to do a quick video just to keep you up to date on our Wednesday Bible study. Now this Wednesday, Pastor Matt will be leading the study, and you'll want to read chapter 3 to be prepared. Now remember last week we had a pop quiz. We could again this week. One of the topics that Pastor Matt will touch on is creation ex nihilo, which means to create from nothing. One of the reasons God is because He creates from nothing. Out of nothing He creates. Pretty amazing, don't you think? Now, many non-believers believe in what's called spontaneous generation, meaning that it just happened all by itself. Do you think so? Well, check out this sound clip by R.C. Sproul on his thoughts about spontaneous generation.
I remember reading an essay by a Nobel Prize winning physicist in which he, quite soberly and academically, made the comment that the days when we can assert spontaneous generation are over. And he acknowledged that spontaneous generation was a philosophical impossibility. He said, now we have to substitute for spontaneous generation the concept of gradual spontaneous generation. And I thought, what does this mean? That you can't get something out of nothing quickly. It takes a long time for something to create itself. But given enough time and enough nothingness, that nothingness can somehow work up the power to bring something into being. This, I'm not joking when I tell you, this was a highly respected, as I say, Nobel Prize-winning physicist who writes this essay in which he advocates gradual spontaneous generation.
Now, Pastor Matt will also touch briefly on evolution versus creationism. Here's an interesting clip on evolution being challenged. Check this out.
You're an atheist?
I am definitely an atheist, yes.
Now, why are you an atheist?
Why am I an atheist? Because there is no God.
Atheism assumes that you can disprove the existence of a God, but I'm an atheist.
What Darwin showed in his work on evolution and natural selection is that we don't need to invoke any supernatural force or power to account for the development of life through time on Earth.
The canine kind, the coyote, and the domestic dog, and there's the feline kind, which is the cats, the tiger and the kitten, and you've got humankind. So Darwin said there'd be a change of kinds over many years, so could you give me one example of observable evidence of a change of kinds?
So, for instance, the fossil record shows the common ancestors of all carnivores, that cats and dogs were once linked, once united by a common ancestor.
How long ago?
This, I believe, was like 60 million years ago.
The scientific method must be observable and repeatable. So could you give me one piece of observable evidence for Darwinian evolution?
Okay, I would point to, as one great example, is look at the genetics of the stickleback.
What's that?
So stickleback fish are a very interesting collection of species that were recently isolated after the end of the Ice Age.
What did they become?
They're various species of sticklebacks.
They stayed as fish.
Well, of course. Human beings are still fish.
Human beings are fish?
Why, yes, of course they are.
Could you give me an example of Darwinian evolution, not adaptation or speciation, but a change of kinds?
These are changes of kinds.
They're still fish.
They're distinctly different fish.
We have thousands of examples.
Can you give me one?
I can give you thousands.
Just one.
For instance, I would say look at Lenski's experiments with bacteria then.
So what did the bacteria become?
The bacteria are still bacteria, of course.
So that's not Darwinian evolution. That's not a change of kinds, is it?
It is a change. It is a change in the genetic makeup of the bacteria, which is
still bacteria. So what did the bacteria become?
A new kind of bacterium.
So it's still bacteria. There's no change of kinds. To summarize, the observable evidence that you give me for Darwinian evolution is bacteria becoming bacteria.
No, it is bacteria acquiring new metabolic capabilities.
You said before that There is lots of evidence for evolution. I just want one observable evidence for Darwinian evolution,
No.
just one.
But I gave you some. You don't want.
Not some, I want one.
Wait, you don't want that.
I want one. Yes, I do. I'm pleading with people.
You asked me to tell you. You asked me to tell you when I've watched one species evolve into another. Isn't that right?
No, one kind into another. There's 14 different definitions of species. So I want a change of kind.
When you say change of kinds, you mean the evolution of one species from another or to another? Yes, we have that in action actually in the Galapagos.
Could you give me one instance?
Yes, we have an example from a group of birds called Darwin's finches.
What do the finches become?
They become genetically new and anatomically new, recognizably different species.
So they're still finches?
Well, of course, they're still finches, yes.
They're not a change of, there's no change of kind.
Okay, there you go. Hope to see you at church on Wednesday night. And oh yeah, for dinner, we're having pizza at 5:30. The study begins at 6 p.m. So, be there or be square. Where did that come from?